Hello, welcome everybody to Quest at Home on Wednesday the 18th of January, and wonderful to be back for the new year and continuing with our Quest at Home broadcasts and the wonderful dive into the skills and tools that Quest for Life bring to us to deal with and indeed embrace life's many and colourful events. So we'll start off as we do each session with, when we like to do at Quest, start with doing nothing, which is our metaphor for doing a short practice that allows us to come, what we call coming to our senses. So welcome to people logging in now, and we're right on time starting with our Wednesday morning Quest at Home. So welcome to you for the new year. So inviting anyone listening to just become aware of sitting on your chair now, and or wherever you are, perhaps lying on your bed, and taking some deep breaths and just becoming present to what's happening, and that we're here together and that you've come onto Facebook Live this morning. So some deep breaths and just bringing ourselves, our awareness back into the present moment and feeling our feet on the floor. And just, it's interesting, isn't it? We run around all day, we might not feel anything. And then when we ask the mind, invite the mind to be present to the soles of the feet, connecting with the floor, it's almost a revelation, isn't it? It's like, oh yes, I remember I have feet where they're on the floor or the ground, and connecting into them, it makes an instant difference to how we feel. So that's just such a great practice at any time. If you're starting to feel a bit, overwhelmed, just feeling the feet on the floor and connecting in. Beautiful, simple practice. And so doing that together, we then bring our awareness up to the feeling of sitting on our chair or whatever surface we're on, but sitting together and feeling the body connecting with whatever's supporting us right now to be here. So feeling the weight of the body and feeling the presence of yourself in that body sitting on that chair right now. And remember to breathe, so just be aware of the breath. More and more research, interestingly now, is coming out about how the importance of the breath is just not just a spiritual belief. It's actually so much science behind the miracle of each breath, and also the fact that when we bring our attention to the breath, a whole raft of wonderful chemistry is released into our brains, into our whole nervous system. So what a gift that is, that already we've discovered this morning two wonderful grounding techniques. One is to just bring our attention to our feet on the floor and just feel the earth. The other one is to go, and there I am, breathing, no matter what's happening, breath. And it's interesting, isn't it? Because in the culture we know, we say to people, take a deep breath, take a slow breath, breathe. We know that's key to people, to any of us being able to deal with a next difficult moment. So feeling that breath now, feeling the weight of the body, and coming up into, I always like to visit the heart center, visiting the heart, and noticing your heart center. It's so much more than a pumping blood around the body. We now know it has neurotransmitters, it has memory, it has an intelligence, it has brain cells. Great revolution of science of the last decade. Revelation, I should say, and revolution in thinking about the heart. So just bring your awareness into your heart and maybe just notice, is there some feeling of tension, or would it describe as open or closed? Bringing our attention into the heart as a communication center with our world. And so lining up now that we've got our feet on the floor. We are breathing. We are feeling ourselves sitting in our chair. And we have a heart, and maybe we can feel it beating or not. Often we can't. But we can breathe into it, and we can acknowledge the presence and our presence in the heart itself. And again, interesting that when we do that, you might have already noticed a slight degree of more calm can come into our being because of the brain chemistry that gets released by the breath and by directing the mind to something other than our worries or our stress or our tension. So this is not about a belief, this is not a magical practice, it's great science about consciously paying attention to the body is the key way to start relieving stress. And breathing, sitting quietly, focusing on where the body is and what it's doing, great way to relieve stress. So we're just quickly going to tour the senses. We're going to breathe in through the nose and go, are there any aromas in the environment I'm sitting in? And just notice that. It's always lovely if they're beautiful ones. And any sounds in my space or outside of the space. What am I seeing in front of my eyes? Or if you've closed your eyes by now, is there any sight behind closed eyes? And if you are got your eyes open, just a soft focus on one thing. There I am. And then the touch of clothing on our skin. And are there any tastes I'm aware of? And so again, just another method of bringing our awareness into the body itself. And when we bring our awareness into the body with a focus, an intention of focusing on ourselves, focusing on what helps, focusing on just a moment of peace in the middle of a difficult situation, it helps the whole biochemistry of the body help us to relax and function better in that moment. So these are great tools, and you might have heard them before or not, but always pays to remember them, I find, because this is something we can use every time we're in a traffic jam, every time we're waiting in a queue, every time we're on hold, in the middle of a tense discussion, when we're going into panic about what'll I do next, just go, really, it's true, breathe, feel the feet. And this is very relevant preparation for our topic today, which is about embracing change and adapting to new situations and circumstances. Because I don't know about you, but I'm still saying to people Happy New Year, and there's still a sense of newness. Got the new calendar, starting new classes. If you've got kids, they're going to a new year at school. Maybe people in your life are starting new courses or doing new things for the change of the year. So the new is very in our language right now. When we meet people, haven't seen them, Happy New Year. And, for a lot of us in the Quest family, where we're often dealing with diagnoses, deaths, deaths, divorces, disasters, all the Ds, depression, things that trouble us, and sometimes many of those and many other things, our own health, the wishing of a Happy New Year, there's a part of us going, I wish, or if only, or if only someone could wave a magic wand and take away all the troubles of last year, maybe I'd feel more enthusiastic about a new year. And so let's just take a moment of compassion with ourselves, if that is indeed feels relevant for you. It's like, many of the things that stretched me in the old year are going to be present in the new year. And without doubt, other things are going to change, because it's just the nature of life. Change is actually constant. It's constant in our bodies, it's constant in our gardens, it's constant in our children, it's constant in the people around us. Really, nothing stays the same is a true story. So, and you might be fortunate to have a home you've lived in for a long time, or an environment that does feel like it's stayed the same. And, we know that there's a comfort in that. And there's a more required of us when we're embracing the new. Think about moving house, which is up there on the scale of stressful life events. It's got death, talking in public, and they do the scale. It's hilarious. Talking in public is number 1. Death is number 2. 3 is either 3 is divorce and 4 is moving house, or the other way, 3 is moving house and 4 is divorce. And so all of those things come kind of all at once, which is, so much change and so much difficulty to deal with at once. And it can get down to whenever we've got change, and particularly grief is what brings many people to our Quest family, when there's a death and someone we love suddenly isn't there anymore, or a diagnosis, suddenly my body isn't who I knew it to be anymore. There can be such comfort in a simple thing like, I know where the light switches are. I know where things are in my fridge. I know how to change the sheets on my bed. I mean, it can really get to those basics. And when we move house and we don't know where the light switches are and we don't know where we put the sheets, it's so discombobulating in so many ways. So there's layers and layers and layers of change that are present to us all the time. And some people say, I love change, I embrace change, and that can be fun to, we switched around some furniture in our house last night. It's fun going, oh, there's a new space and there's a new shelf and there's a new look. That can be fun and uplifting. A change is as good as a rest, that wonderful saying. It's true, sometimes we can move the furniture, get a new haircut. That change, the feeling of the enjoyment of that, is the same as when we learn to use a new neural pathway in the brain. So I learned a new skill, I learned to play something on the piano, or I, learned to draw a picture, or whatever we might do. Learning new things, seeing new things is uplifting to the brain. And now with the research about Alzheimer's, dementia, we know that newness is one of the things that regenerates the brain. And so what is that feeling of, I love the new, it uplifts us, is those fabulous little dendron-y things in our brains who are seeking out what they know when they go, oh, I don't have a place for this. Say you're starting to learn the flute and you go, don't even know how to put that on my mouth, don't even know what those holes are, don't even know how to move my fingers to make a noise out of that. The neural pathways are looking for a match and they're going, I got nothing, that moment. And any of us with trauma brains, we know that moment well, and we go, just tried to say something or do something and I got nothing, nothing going on. It's like they're jammed, or they just said, I can't find anything. It's like you do a search, Google search, as if, and it says, I can't find anything. Sometimes no results. Just means we haven't been down this pathway before. I haven't lived in this house before. I haven't had this conversation with my partner before. I haven't had to try and navigate this set of circumstances before. And when we don't have a new pathway, there's a feeling, experience we have when the little things in the brain are going like this to find each other, and then they find each other and go, oh, there it is, or yes, that's how you do it, or oh, that looks better, or yeah, that was okay. Even if it, we're looking for the new, there's a pleasure response in, that felt good, I learned something new today. So it's a brain activity. It's the same as if we have an insight about ourselves. And I'm a therapist and work with people, and that aha moment that we've all had about something or other, it's like, don't know, can't figure it out, not sure. And we come across something that we feel, oh, that explains it, or now I understand, or oh, I see what I've been doing. I get what I've been feeling. Oh, maybe I have been doing that way and it hasn't been helping. And we have an aha moment. Even though it might be something quite painful, we can still go, it feels good. There's a feeling of reward in insight. We like it. We go, it feels good to have insight. It feels good to embrace the new. So that's great, because that helps. Life is always changing. I need to be embracing the new. I have a brain that likes finding new pathways until I don't. Because I'm sure a lot of you are going, it's not like that for me. And so they've invented a term. You've heard probably of compassion fatigue. So there is a thing called change fatigue. And I don't know about you, but the minute I heard that term, I went, oh, yeah, thank you. That puts a name to something that I haven't quite known how to put my finger on. And I have a dear friend who works in change management, and is employed to go into organisations and help people learn to adapt to the change. And we have some great conversations about that, because as a therapist, I'm also assisting people to adapt to and see things from a different perspective and learn different ways of approaching them, and what does it feel like to embrace change and have it be a feeling of that feels like a positive experience. But often in the first instance, there's a, no, I don't want to feel that. I don't want things to change. I don't know. And we should put in here, of course, there's a difference when it's a change that we choose, like making a class, falling in love with something else, thanks Robin, doing something else, right? There's a difference when we say, I want to change, I'm going to learn a new skill, I'm going to enter a new relationship, I'm going to move to a new town, I'm going to buy a new house, whatever. Then we go, I want that change, I'm walking towards it. When a change is thrust upon us, I think of the many people with the floods and the many disasters around the world and things, or death and unexpected death, we go, I don't want that change, or diagnosis, I don't want that change, I don't like that change. Then of course there's a whole chemistry going on around that contracts us and makes us tense, and the brain then's not as adept at going, okay, we're making a change now, and there's a chemistry in me that makes it difficult to find the way to put those things together. So you know how it's harder to think. So when they're working trying to teach people a new program, well, we've all been there, right, with our phones and I had it logging into Facebook today, suddenly a new device wanted a new password and an old password. And I was like, I just wanted to be the way it was when I clicked the button and it all happened. And now they've changed it on me. Classic phrase for people my age group, who just when we get things to a place we can understand, they change it all. So when we go, I don't like that change, it's irritating, it's upsetting, it's devastating, it's life-threatening, then we're in a state of, like, I'm not in good shape to embrace change now. I'm not open. My brain isn't going, oh, yippee, let's learn how to play the flute. It's going, no, I don't want this. And can you see how you can probably feel it internally? That immediately makes it more difficult to the brain to wrap its head around it. That's such a good phrase, because if you saw what the neural pathways do, it's kind of a great description that actually literally something in our brain has to kind of wrap itself around it and come together and form a network around it. And so it's a great saying, I can't wrap my brain around it, I can't wrap my head around it. It's like, my brain's just going, it's kind of frozen. It's going into some kind of, and when we're in shock or we're triggered in a PTSD moment, and sometimes we don't even know that's happened, we've got a trauma brain, we're not often aware that when suddenly our brain's not functioning, we're going, I've got to do a new thing, I've got nothing. Right? And one thing I'd love you to take from this morning if possible is just to be okay with those I've got nothing moments, and don't rush to go, I'm a senior moment, or I'm stupid. I find a lot of my clients who've had really a lifetime of trauma, and sometimes they haven't known that they have. They think that they're stupid because often when asked to do something new under pressure, say at school, get up and say that to the class, or go out and play that sport, or somebody's demanding of them, parenthood demands so many new things of us at once that we weren't prepared for, and we're going, I don't even know, I've got nothing, And I can remember looking at a newborn baby and going, I just can't figure out how to go to have a shower. I had to ring someone to say, how do you have a shower when you've got a newborn staring at you? What do you do? It's just common sense. You wait for it to go to sleep and like, okay, it felt like a dimwit, but honestly in the moment, I had nothing going on. So I would love you to just be able to embrace that and be kind to yourself and compassionate. Go, sometimes in the face of change, I've got nothing. What do I do about it, I hear you say? Well, the first thing you do is what we did this morning to start. Okay, brain freeze, not just from eating ice cream, not the good kind, right? Brain freeze, like, I got nothing, I've got to come up with something new, feet on the floor. It's interesting, that noise I just made is what horses do. It's a version of what dogs do when they shake their heads, and it's actually, I love this science coming, actually really good for the vagus nerve. Who knew? Well, we did actually. We lived in these bodies and we just knew, okay, we just make a sound. And turns out it's actually helping release some of that stress of, I've got nothing. So be kind to yourself when you have I've got nothing moments, and in a time of crisis with lots of new change and lots of, watching people digging out mud from their houses and all their possessions, it's too much change, too much at once, not wanted, not welcomed, didn't ask for it, here I am having to deal with total change, can't find my underwear, don't know where the next meal's coming from, too much at once. And it's okay for us humans to just sometimes sit down and go, too much at once. This idea that we have to, should be brilliant, marvellous, keep coping. We will, we do. Very few of us actually completely throw the towel on. Most of us do find a way to keep on keeping on. But it does help if you can give yourself a moment to say, too much change at once. I haven't got a clue. I don't know. What? And then, interestingly, often the next thing just comes into our mind, right? It's like, well, I'll just have a cup of tea. I'll just sit down. Sometimes I just sit down and read I usually have a very light content book going on. If I find it amusing or interesting novel, I'm just going to read my book for 10 minutes, go into another world altogether, have a little cup of tea. Thank you very much. One chapter. Whew. Okay, I know what to do now, right? So adapting to the new and to change. But number one is being kind to ourselves, helping ourselves come into the body and understanding that actually what's required of us in change is a rewiring of the brain. I work a lot with people with grief, had a lot of grief in my own journey, and so had to really learn a lot about how to navigate that process. And so one of the things, once the neuroplastic information came online and we really started looking at the brain, I went, oh, I get it. All those moments where we go, I'll just tell, oh, they're not there anymore. Oh, that's not there anymore. And we keep coming up against the shock of, I no longer live with that person, or that person's no longer here, or I can't do that anymore, or my loved ones had a terrible thing. It's doing something in our brain. One of the reasons a very close, upsetting grief, and then say if we've had a lot of them at once, like, people, there's a death or a divorce and they can feel very similar, and then people have had to move, and there's kids, or there's a disease, or there's a disaster, and they're all coming at once. The brain simply can't rewire that much material that quickly. And so, you might have read some of the popular literature about brain change, 28 days to create a new habit, 6 months to really change a characteristic, Daniel Siegel is one of the experts, says in therapy for people with trauma, 2 years to really have rewired the brain to this point where it's no longer functioning like a trauma brain. 2 years of kind of concentrated therapeutic or some other intervention. So I'm just bringing to your attention that it's not you. It's not about you can't do it fast enough. People, I find, have very unrealistic expectations of themselves that they just should be able to do. Oh, I'm just moving house, I'm just doing this, I'm just, a new job, a group of friends, whatever it is in your case. Your children changing, and sometimes it feels like you've got a new child, doesn't it? You've just got the hang of the old one, suddenly they go into puberty, or they start talking or walking, or all sorts of things, so many things. I know you know. That the brain literally has to go, oh, not that neural pathway, another neural pathway. And we kind of come up against these moments of, what? And particularly with a death, a sudden death, there's this, after the first 6 or 8 weeks, there's this kind of the brain going, what do you mean that happened? What do you mean they're not here anymore? No. Like there's a bit of an argument going on in the brain going, what do you mean all of that way I've lived my life isn't relevant anymore, including that person? Like it's like I have to learn a new language overnight. I have to stop talking English and start talking Swahili overnight and go, I can't learn a new language immediately. I don't have that capacity. And I want to say to you, it's okay. Nobody's brain actually has that capacity. The reason that grief process, loss of a dear partner, loss of a child, that includes breakup of a family, it does take people say, oh, it takes as long as it takes. But I'm going to say to you, it takes a good 2 years to really rewire the brain to a place of comfort where it stops being a shock all the time. And so if you've had a lot of change, and Robin in the chat saying she has, and pace of things at work rapidly and constantly changing. I remember someone once describing my job to me. I was running a registered training organisation at the time, trying to keep up with the government changes. They said it's like trying to change the wheel on the car while the car's still moving. I was like, that's exactly what it felt like. And it's not possible, really. We can't do a good job at that unrealistic pace. So then people start making shortcuts and start doing things that aren't of the highest order, and start, doing things that aren't in the best interest necessarily, because they're just needing to make some changes quickly. And sometimes that's just the way it is in the middle of a war zone or the middle of a crisis. We just got to do the best we can with what we've got at the time. But if it's something where we've got more internal space and it's our own grief in the middle of the night, we can take that time to say, yeah, my brain is needing to completely rewire itself, and it takes time. And so being gentle with myself, and one of the key tools I want to bring to your attention today, as well as the doing our coming to our senses and just coming back into the body and to the breath and going, maybe I feel overwhelmed, it feels like too much, I don't know what to do next, I'm freaking out, I'm frozen, I just want to go back to bed forever, when will this end? We get to those places like, okay, I hear myself, fair call, let's just be in the moment, do the breathing. And now what is one thing I could do in this moment to help myself shift the brain chemistry? So Quest for Life in the program, it's an exercise we do, and creating a list for ourselves of what helps put us back together. What helps? And a friend of mine's got a great list. She's got on the fridge like a menu of things that create dopamine in the brain. I need some good chemistry in my brain right now. So in that moment, it's like, okay, I'm going to listen to Patria's voice telling me how to meditate, or I'm going to call a friend, or I'm going to watch a funny video. I think everybody should have a YouTube list with their favourite comedians that someone a guaranteed laugh. Big Bang Theory. Always get a laugh out loud moment out of there somewhere, like something. 5 minutes of Big Bang Theory, like whatever it would be for you. I'm going to give my brain a mini injection of some dopamine, some good chemistry. And I'm going to take some breaths, and I'm going to, maybe it's just get up, walk outside, stand in the sun, remember the sun is shining, I'm breathing, and I don't know what to do next, and maybe I'm really intensely not happy about everything that's going on right now, particularly if I've got a lot of fear about what's going to happen. That's a real shows I've got full of fear. It's like, okay, I'm going to breathe. I'm going to give my brain a break from the fear, because if you've got a trauma brain, it wants to go over and over the fear and keep showing you horror movies. Go, no, I'm going to, thank you brain, I know you're just trying to look after me. I'm going to focus over here. I'm going to watch the funny cat videos. I'm going to watch, maybe I've got a funny cat or a dog. I'm going to go outside. Anything to give yourself a brain break, a mini brain break. It's not a big thing. See, the trouble is most of our brains go, but I can't fix the problem. And some of the problems we have are things that can't be fixed. The diagnosis, the death, the disaster. We can't fix the problem. So it's not about, I've got to fix what's going on. It's about, I've got to get my brain into the shape where I can step into the new and function and allow my intuition and my common sense and my heart to join with my logical brain in coming up with the next step, the next creative solution. So there's so much more I could say about this, and I would love to keep saying it, but our contract and our time that we ask from you is an hour, half an hour. Sorry, that was Freudian slip, half an hour. And I hope there's been some good takeaway points here this morning, so I hope they've made sense to you and been helpful to you, and encourage you. You know, one great break, big brain break you can give yourself is come and do a Quest program, because it truly is the best neuroplastic intervention for a stressed brain, a traumatized brain, a brain that's got change fatigue that I have ever come across in my 40 years in the business, and that's why I work at Quest for Life. So maybe that's something for your new year you could look at, or have a conversation with someone at Quest about how we might be able to help that happen for you. So hope you have a peaceful day, and take care, and please be kind to yourself. Thanks everybody.